All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Let's take a look back at week 9. I mean, it was fine. It was a fine week of training. It wasn't anything outstanding. It was a recovery week. It was what it was. Um, are there some things to still talk about? Yeah, there's definitely some stuff that happened this week worth mentioning. But all in all, it was a recovery week. It was pretty uneventful as a recovery week should be. There wasn't any big workouts. The long run was what it was. We'll kind of unpack that later on when we get to that. But overall, it was the whole goal was to recover. Um, Originally, if we look back at the training log from last week, there was supposed to be a progression run midweek. That didn't really happen. There was a long run that was supposed to be a long run. We kind of had to modify that midway, and we'll kind of get to that why. But did I recover as well as I wanted to this week? Not quite as much. I recovered pretty well. When we got kind of later in the week, I kind of finally figured out why I wasn't recovering as well as I was hoping to. But we'll we'll kind of get to that. So let's start off with the week that was. Let's start off with Monday. Kind of work through the week and see what happened and what we had to modify and why we did those things. So Monday starts off. Went for a nice easy run in the park. Got some trail miles in. Um, it was nice soft surfaces. Just kind of an easy run. Nothing big there. Tuesday, still feeling pretty beat up. Went for an even shorter run. Did about 5 miles or so and called it good. It was nice to finish a run uh, in under 40 minutes. As I got done, I looked at my watch and it said 39 minutes. And I was like, oh, this is glorious seeing 39 minutes on the watch rather than like an hour for a lot of these runs I've been doing or 2.5 hours for some of the long runs. So I was like, 30 some odd minutes. That's a good distance right now for a recovery week. But then we got to to Wednesday, and my legs just weren't recovering the way that I had expected to them by this week. And I looked at the schedule and it said progression run, and I said, you know what? Not only are we not going to do a progression run today, we're just not going to run today. Today's just going to be a full on rest day. We're just taking the day off, right? Um, and hopefully, I was looking at this like, okay, hopefully I can kind of rebound tomorrow, feel a little bit better, and just get through this week and be recovered at the end, ready to go for the next big week next week. Um, Thursday came around. I rebounded a little bit. Felt pretty good. Went for a nice. I say easy run. It was a nice, comfortable pace. I think I got about 8.5 or so. It was about an hour worth of running in. Um, and Friday, still wasn't feeling great. Just went for a bike ride. Get some aerobic work in, but just kind of take some of the other stressors off the body. Big long run Saturday. We're gonna come back to that one. There's a lot of pieces to unpack on that one. And then Sunday again, because it being a recovery week, and I just wasn't feeling great, especially after the long run. Just jumped on the bike again. Okay, so really, on an entire week like this, we had what 4 runs, 2 bike rides, and a day off. Okay, so really, this was not a big running week at all. But that's fine. Again, the whole idea is recovery. Um, but I kind of mentioned that I didn't realize why I wasn't recovering until later in the week, and it was I don't think I've been eating enough. And it's nothing, of like, oh man, I'm trying to cut weight or anything. It's just I've been eating a certain amount of food for the mileage I was doing, and then these last couple weeks, my knee's been feeling better, so I've been upping that mileage a little bit, and I haven't been increasing the caloric intake to match that. And I think this week it just kind of started catching up to me. I went for one of the runs, and I was just like, man, I'm not feeling good at all after that. I went to In and Out. I got a double double, animal style. I felt great afterwards. And I think that was kind of the turning point where I was like, oh, okay, I need to be eating more. And I've been trying to, you know, make more snacks and have all these other things to munch on. It's just I'm kind of like, oh, I'm hungry and so I'll eat, or I'm not hungry so I'm not going to eat. And I think that right there, I need to be more cognitive of like, hey, I just need to eat. Like, okay, it's been so long since I've eaten, whether I'm hungry or not, I need to eat in order to fuel well, to recover well enough to get on to the next day and the next workout. Um, so luckily that all kind of came through on a rest week where that was fine. I could do that. I'm glad that it didn't happen like next week or the week after, in the middle of like higher training, trying to get through some of these big workouts undernourished. Um, because those are kind of the bigger efforts that I'm like, hey, I'm really kind of pressing myself there. Whereas this, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a recovery run. I can feel bad, whatever. Or, hey, it's a recovery week. I can take the day off, whatever. Um, so really, I think I kind of need to really focus on that stuff a little bit more. The other thing that I kind of glossed over that I said I'd come back to later on in the video is the long run. Okay, so the long run, my wife and I didn't get out onto the trails as early as we were kind of maybe planning originally, and by the time we got out there, it was warm. It was in the 80s, and it was just going to get warmer from there. I think the day it topped out about 92, and we were out there when it was 92, and my wife wasn't handling the heat super well. We're really not sure why she was having as big of an issue with it that day as she was. We had water, we were drinking, um, fueling seemed fine. It was just for whatever reason that day the heat kind of hit her a little bit hard, and she was kind of showing some signs of heat exhaustion while we were out there. So we cut the run short in the park, just to play it safe. We came home. I swapped shoes, changed outfits because I was super sweaty. It was hot out, and just went out for another easy 25-ish minute run just to kind of get the full distance we were hoping for. Um, so I got about 2.5 hours in worth of running that day. And to give an idea of how hot it was, I weighed myself before and after the run, like I typically do, to kind of check hydration levels and how much I need to kind of focus on that. I lost just over 10 pounds worth of water weight in that 2.5 hours worth of running. So that was kind of for the next 24 hours. That was my big goal, is to just down water and down these things to recover from. And so it took me about a day and a half to finally get back up to weight, but it was what it was. It was a hot day out, even though I was consuming liquids on the run and consuming liquids after the run. I was still just, it took a while to refuel all that stuff that we had lost on the run. And talking about fueling, I think on this long run, one of the things I kind of got, and it really kind of clicked in my brain a little bit more, is the reason I've been having an issue on some of these long runs. The super long, slow stuff, I've been okay on. Like, I get through it and I'm done, and I'm like, okay, it was what it was. I don't feel super great, but it was a long run. You never really feel great at the end of a long run. But then I'm really kind of hitting the wall on some of the quicker, more road-based long runs. And I think what it is, on the slower stuff, I think the amount that I was feeling I can get away with because it is such a low intensity, and my body can kind of use its own natural fuels like my fat stores and whatnot to fuel through that. But when I start increasing the pace, like marathon effort on some of these road runs, I need a little bit of a quicker fuel. I've been kind of jumping around with some of the different things I've been trying, a little bit more like peanut butter based stuff on some of the longer efforts. And really, again, it's a more of a fat base, so it's a slower burning fuel. I'm getting the fuel in, but my body has time to change it into a usable form. Whereas the quicker stuff, I'm burning through my glucose and my body's quick fuel stores a little bit quicker, and I'm kind of hitting a wall at the end there. So I've been kind of changing up what I'm taking. I just ordered a whole bunch of honey stinger gels because I've used those in the past for some stuff, and those seem to work pretty well. So we're gonna shoot and really kind of focus on using more of those because it's a honey based, so it's a very sugary gel, a little more of a natural sugar rather than like processed stuff and like goo or stuff like that. So really going to try those for a little bit here going forward, and I'm realizing I need to have more of those more often on my long runs than I've been doing previously. So okay, so that's kind of what the week looked like. Let's kind of break it down. The good, I recovered. It took me longer through the week to recover than I was anticipating. But by the end of the week, I do feel like I have recovered pretty well and I'm ready to go for next week. Okay, so we hit our goal. We recovered. Awesome. Good. The bad, again, I think it took me longer through the week to recover than I was expecting because food. Because I don't think I was consuming enough food. And so that kind of leads us into the goal for next week: eat more. As weird as that sounds, I need to eat more. Again, I was eating enough food when I was running 40, 45 miles a week. Not this last recovery week because that was definitely a down week, but the week before, I hit 60 miles. Like I was over 60 miles. And so that's a significant increase in volume. Moving forward over the next couple weeks as we hit our highest volume areas of training, I'm hoping to hit 65, 70, miles a week, heading into this marathon. So I really, really need to make sure that I'm consuming enough food to fuel myself through all of that. Okay. So that's really what this week has looked like. It was a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. It was what it was. It was a recovery week. They're never, those ones that you really kind of look back and like, man, that was an awesome recovery. No, it's in there as part of the process, right? So, all right, that's all I got for this week. Hopefully this kind of made a couple of connections on things for people looking at their own training. But other than that, hope you guys have a great week this next week. I'll see you later. Happy running. Bye.